So as an example, we have annual leave here. So let's look at a few configurations against this leave type. First, we have active. So this would be if the leave type is active or not, whether it could be entitled for the employee. So the next one we have is covering employee required. So if there is a certain leave type which requires mandatory for a covering employee, we can tick over here. So the next configuration is allow half days. So if the leave type, if we could apply half day, we have to take this one over here for that particular leave type. So the next one we're going to look at is auto calculate end date. So if we take the example as mandatory leave and we want to automatically set the from and to dates, we can tick this one. So as soon as the employee starts to apply leave, the end date would be calculated according to the entitlement. So next, I'll show balance. So in this case, if we want the end user to see their balance, we can tick this. If it is not required, we can untick it. Then the employee wouldn't see their balance. I will show you that when we go into the application page, an example. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is maximum leave days in a single instance. So here we can enter the number of days that can be applied in a single leave application, the maximum days. So against this leave type, it's 7. So the maximum days an employee applying for annual leave can apply is 7 days. So next we have the entitlement criteria. For this, it is we have to write a script for this in the backend, which would calculate the entitlement for a particular employee, taking certain parameters like his join date. We can use basically any parameter. We'll look at that in the next session, how to write the scripts for this entitlement criterion. So here we have another one, compulsory utilization. So if that is required, if they have to utilize the leave, if it's compulsory to utilize it, and we can set the days. So next one we have is need medical certificate. So if it's a medical leave and the medical certificate is required, we can tick this one over here, and we can give the days which is required after. So again we have subsequent leave type not allowed. So with this leave type, in this case it's annual leave. If we don't want the user to apply another type of leave consecutively, we can tick this one over here and select which leave type they cannot apply. So next we have the workflow. So once a leave is applied, the workflow process, we have to assign it here. So we can have a separate workflow for each leave type if required. So this would be handled from the workflow module. We can set it for it to go to the supervisor first. We can set it for supervisor first level. Then second level could be the CEO, etc. We can define it there. It will be handled from the workflow section. Subsequent leave is say that you are going to apply for this annual leave type. Subsequent leave type not allowed would mean that you cannot apply this consecutively after annual leave. You cannot apply these two leave types consecutively. So if I select casual leave here, end user cannot apply annual leave and casual leave consecutively. Is that clear? So here we have validation script. So this again is another configuration. We can create various validation scripts for against each leave type. So that also we will discuss in the next session. So next we can see the short leave types. So in short leave types, the configurations we have, the main ones are we can give the minimum hours, the maximum hours, and the occurrences. So we have to select here what it is applicable for. So monthly, the maximum occurrences are 3. We can either give it yearly, monthly, or weekly. And here again, we can set which workflow it should go through. Again, handle from the workflow module. So we have some other configurations as well. We can limit the consecutive hours. We can limit the short leave application per day. So next, let's look at the calendar definitions. So the first page is the day types. So these would be all the days that you all could assign into your calendar. So the working day is an example here. We can give the description and the name. We can give the name, the description, and the day type. So it should be the full day holiday, a half day holiday, or it could be a working day. So if it's a working day, we can give the leave amount as 1. So the amount of leave that will be deducted for this particular day would be 1. We can give a color for it. So it would be displayed with this color on the holiday calendar. So let's look at the calendar then. Before that, we also have calendar groups. So if you're say you have companies in multiple countries, you can maintain a calendar for each country. So with the relevant holidays, you can maintain multiple calendars. Looking at the holiday calendar, this is what it will be like. So you have your calendar groups here which you defined, and your calendar would be displayed. So if we edit and select a date, we can see our day types over here and we can assign them. So this is how the holiday calendar will be defined. The day types which we defined previously would be appearing here, so you can assign it to the holiday calendar. So next, let's look at the annual entitlements and configurations. So the first page is leave types and groups. So our leave groups would be displayed here. The leave groups are again basically the set of employees which have the common leave types. So then we can select the holiday calendar which which the leave group has, and here it would display all the leave types entitled for this particular leave group. So this leave group contains these types of leave. So from this page is where we can entitle new leave types for this group. We can remove leave types for this group, and we can also edit the leave type configurations group wise. As an example, for this particular leave group, we can change the configuration of the annual leave. So again, you'll be redirected basically to that same page earlier, the leave type definition. In this case, we can change particular configurations for the leave group that we selected. So for example, we can say that the covering employees is not required for annual leave for this particular group. So you can, from here you can untick it. So the change would only affect this particular leave group what we selected. Likewise, if you want to add a new leave type, if you want to entitle a new leave type for this permanent staff group, we can click new here. And all the leave types would be displayed here. We can select it and save it. So then that particular leave type also would be assigned to that leave group. So next we have short leave types and groups. So this would be the same thing, but for short leave. So we can change group wise, we can change short leave configurations, and we can entitle new short leaves if required. So once we entitle it to the group, we have to entitle it for the employees in that group as well. So we just entitled which group gets which leave type. Next, we have to entitle the employees as well in the groups. So through employee leave entitlements, that can be done. So we select the year. Then we have our leave groups here. So here you would see the leave, all the leave types entitled for this group would be displayed here. We can select them. Then we can select the employees. We can select the get employees to entitle. We can select the employees and entitle. There is another configuration which I will show you in the next session. We can use eligibility criteria. So what that does is we can set who are the employees in this permanent staff. We can set it in the backend. So once we set it and tick this, when we select the employees to entitle, we can say use eligibility group. So we can basically define who are the employees eligible, who are the employees in this permanent staff. So we can tick this, and once we search using this option, only the related employees from that group would load. So we can straight away entitle in that way. So let me just take an example and show you. When we select the employees, according to the leave entitlement script, the entitlements would load. So here you would see the annual leave days. He has 14, casual 7, etc. So next what we do is we tick on this and we click on entitle. So then the employee would get these entitlements. So if there are any questions, you can type it in the chat. So let's look at some operational activities. So the first one is update leave balance. So this would be for a HR administrator. They can select an employee and they can update that employee's leave balance. So his the leave types which he is entitled would be here with the entitlement, the balance and everything. If it is required, they can change it and save. So next we have the reasons for leave. So when an employee is applying for leave, these would be the reasons that would be displaying in the leave application. So you can add more if required. So the next page we have is earn leave management. So if an employee has worked overnight, and he is entitled for a leave, we can entitle it from here. We can select the employee. The leave types that would be displayed here, there is a configuration that we have to tick to enable it to display in the leave management page. So once we tick this earned, whether it's earned, then it would be appearing in that leave management page. So this would be the leave, uh, this would be the leave which would appear there. So if I save it here, we select the employee. The leave type is not entitled for this particular leave group. That's why it's not displaying there. So what we do is basically we select, once we enable it, once we set it as a earned leave, it would be displayed here under this leave type. So we can select it. We give the earned date, the date that which he worked overnight, will say. We can give a validity period, how long this leave type is valid for, the amount. We can give a comment and save. So once it is saved, the employee can apply it from his leave application page. It would be displayed there. Okay, so those are the main front end configurations which you can find on the absence module. So if you look at the application side, this is the same page that is displayed on the self-service which was done last. That question we will answer during the payroll session, how we define the salary. And the question you asked, what is leave? That is the, say if an employee worked overnight, that is a leave type we could entitle if he has worked overnight. Is that okay? Is that okay? So this would be the same application which we find on the end user portal. We can select the leave type. We give the from date. Here we give the breakdown. So whether it's a half day. If we define it saying giving it a half day in the leave type, we could select it over here in the leave breakdown. We can give attachment if necessary, and then here we have the reasons for leave which we defined. We can give a comment, and we can also send a notification to another employee within the company. We can select the covering employee and click on apply. So here you would find your leave balance grid. So I mentioned earlier that we can not show the balance to the employee. So if we tick that tick, it would not show his balance here. So we have a tab here, short leave application. So this is where you would apply for your short leave. You give the date, the time range from to. We can give the reason, and we can click on apply. So that is how a short leave would be applied. So then you have my leave chart. So you can see how we have applied leave, giving the month and the year. It would be displayed here with the relevant leave type. So this would be the holiday calendar for your particular group. You could just view it here. Next, let's look at the leave cancellation page. So this, it would display all the leaves that you have taken. If it is required, you can cancel it. If the leave had been approved, it will go for a workflow if you're going to cancel it as well. So example, now this leave has been approved. So if you cancel it, it would then again go to your supervisor for approval. If it is not approved, you can cancel it without going through workflow. So next we have the leave history and status. So you can view how we have taken leave in the past year. You can select the year on top and it will display how we have taken leave. So next we have team leave management. So all your subordinates would be loading here. As you can see in the legend, you can perform these leave related activities against this subordinate. So you can apply the leave, you can apply short leave, you can cancel leave, you can view the details, etc. So if I look at applying leave, you would be redirected to the leave application page on behalf of that particular subordinate. So then you also have my leave plan. So here you can define your leave plan. So say you want to plan your holiday in December, you can just plan it there so that your supervisor can look at it and maybe make arrangements on how he or she could plan the resources. This would be just to view. You can select the leave type and you can give the from to date. This would just be your leave plan. Okay. So then we have some HR administrative pages here. We can view the company leave information for a particular period. So they can select the employee. For the given period, they can view the leave details. So against each employee, it would display what the leave they have taken. So you can select multiple employees and view the details. So then again, we have the same page, but just for subordinates. So you can view the subordinates leave information. So next we have this page, leave management all employees. So this again would be for HR administrator. Here they can impersonate to any employee within the company and they can perform leave related activities. So they can search for the employee and impersonate to that particular employee. They can apply leave, they can apply short leave, they can cancel leave, etc. So then we have company leave chart. So here you can select employees and you can view their company, you can view their leave chart. So you can select multiple employees. Like so it would be displayed. The leave that they have taken would be shown in this grid over here. So from the front end, those would be the main functions. So we have a few backend functions like defining how the entitlement works. That is in this page, the script editor. So we have the scripts here that we define how we are going to entitle leave. So this would be example. We are going to discuss this in the next session. The backend functionality we'll discuss in the next session. So regarding the front end, those are the main functionalities. Are there any questions on what we did today? So is everything okay? Are there any questions on what we have done today? So on the environment you all can just fill in these data, and on the next session we can look at the backend configuration. So that's it for today's session. On the next session, part 2 of absence, we'll look at how we do the backend configuration.